Hello guys, and welcome to the first block party trading scalping session or day trading session, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't really matter, but this is quite new for us, and it's something we're pretty excited about in giving you a bit of an insight into pretty much our day trading and stuff like that. We took a look at recording videos and editing them down, making them look real pretty, and it's fine, it's good, but at the end of the day, I think one of the best ways to do this is actually do it live kind of thing. And there's no real ways about it. We don't want to edit it down because there's always comes with questions and stuff like you're just chopping and changing the best bits from it all. At least this way you get to kind of see all of the highs and obviously the lows, which do come with trading. So whilst this is pretty much a about day trading and scalping predominantly, it really is pretty much an insight into what we do on a day-to-day basis. And for those of you who don't know, block party trading is a complete cryptocurrency trading service. It's primarily run by me and my partner. And, we started out as traders at the start of it all. Initially, we didn't really kind of go out with any foresight to become providers in this sector, or bot builders, or indicator builders, or consultants. A lot of this kind of just, evolved and passively grew, I guess, as we started to make new partnerships, meet new people, understand new technologies and stuff like that, and especially like requirements within trading. You obviously develop all these kind of different skill sets that you can't necessarily learn straight out of university or college or from a book. It's a lot of it is from experience in the grand scheme of it all. So yeah, we kind of we amassed all of this knowledge, and we started to deploy it in different areas. So we started out, like I said, as traders, pretty much on TradingView. And, we posted ideas. For those of you who don't know, you can go on a TradingView. Here we go. You can go on TradingView and you can pretty much follow any different traders. There's me, Crypto Christian, and then there's my partner, Crypto Nico, I think, on this. But for those of you on Telegram, you'll probably know as Robotnik. But you can check out their ideas and stuff like this. And it's, TradingView is an awesome place for getting ideas. A lot of people kind of spam it for content to get followers, which is fine. You see that everywhere on social media. But then there are some, hardcore folks who really like to dive deep into the analysis and stuff like that. There is some cool stuff. It covers everything, from your crypto and your Forex, obviously metals and stocks and whatever. A lot of it is quite speculative, and as with anywhere, there's trolls and stuff like that. So everyone will always, either agree with your ideas or kind of try to shoot your ideas down. But the funny thing with trading is I never, ever troll, because it is just, well, one, it's a waste of time. And two, who are you making feel good out of that situation? If you get it right, wow, pat on the back, you prove someone wrong. If you get it right, you don't win anything, and it just makes everyone feel a bit bad about themselves. But, with trading, the worst thing you can possibly do is troll. It sets you up for such big falls. It's so easy to be wrong because, at the end of the day, we have all of this technical analysis, these indicators, this technology. And yeah, sure, it does slightly put, favor on your side, but for the most part, it is gambling. As much as you want to kind of dress up trading into this really, beautiful art and stuff like that, we can, at the end of the day, you are placing money down on a decision to make more or lose. So it is gambling. It can be dressed up as much as you like, but it's educated gambling. But even in gambling in casinos, poker, whatever, which I suck at poker. I'm crap at gambling in the conventional sense in casinos and stuff like that. I don't know what I'm doing, which isn't a bad thing. There's nothing wrong with it. It is there for an element of fun. You don't have to bet your life savings on every single time you go in there. I know it's the source of a lot of problems and stuff like that, for sure. You should always be aware. You should always be diligent. You should always follow the kind of core sets of rules, which you know, this is what these videos are going to be great for, is we'll be covering all that kind of stuff, you know. And trading is such an expansive area, whether it's in crypto, really, whether it's in any kind of school within this passive earning sector. Oh, hello, we've got a signal. Right, okay, so this is what we're here for. So we're looking at taking the scalping. So I'll kind of do a lot of fillers, talk about block party trading, training, whatever, all that kind of stuff. But, you know, the source of what we're doing is we're going to be scalping, we're going to be day trading. And this is one of the signals that's about to fire. So I am going to, if this closes in 1 minute 45, maybe a little bit before then we'll look to take this trade. Got a pretty, not too big stop loss actually on that. So I'll be looking at something like this. I'll run you through the complete strategy shortly, but, you know, my priority of all of this is trading, is making money. You know, at the end of the day, this is just me kind of documenting what I'm doing. So I'm not going to down all tools just to stop, look at the camera, talk to you, make sure that you guys' hands are being held when I'm going through this. But, you know, the most important thing for me here is to make sure that my allocations, entries, risk, and everything is spot on. So if I go quiet at times, then, you know, that'll be why. So what we're doing now is, you know, we're using the trading view position tool, and this is going to help us allocate the correct amount of risk for this trade. It does seem to be dumping down. I think we are going to commit to this trade, to be honest. Oh, big fail. That was on ETH. There we go. Okay. Well, BTC and ETH moved the exact same anyway. That's probably not even going to fill. Let's just ignore that. We'll come back to that in a minute. So we want to be on BTC. Not a good start. Although that's not a bad start because it's now retracing. So hey-ho. Swings and roundabouts. Might be able to take this stop loss up a little bit as it's bouncing. Will this close down? This is a good reason why you should be cautious about entering trades too early. We are looking like we're getting a pretty good entry here. It's such a small amount, it doesn't really matter. We'll just leave that to profit. Right, let's reload this one. Yep, there we go. We've got it confirmed, but we're already following it anyway. So go in on this. Bish, bosh, bang. Take a short, open straight into it. Brilliant. Now let's set up our stop losses and take profits. So add that in. I literally don't care about the ETH trade at the moment because it's so small. Put the stop loss price in there, and then the take profit price. Now what we're going to do now is we're just going to set the kind of market order, take profits and stop losses. As you can see here, they've populated on the chart. Bish, bosh. It just seems to be bouncing a little bit, but I'm not too worried. To be honest, we've been very, very bearish at the moment. We've got quite a lot of price action to get through for it to retrace up to there. It's not the end of the world if it does. If we'd have taken this trade earlier, would have still been in this trade actually. But again, you know, we had an opportunity. We've jumped in, and I'll run you through the strategy, everything behind it at the moment. But at the moment, we've got a trade set up. So this is our first trade of our live stream. You know, you can see all of the, you know, all of the current, what do we call it? All of the current win rates, you know, wins and losses at the top of the screen in the banner, and also the daily scalping on the bottom just here, which will, just down here, which will kind of appear. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to leave the stop loss at a market order. We've got the entry at a limit order, which is super important with scalping, but we are actually using MEXC, which is just far and away the best exchange right now for scalping, and I'll tell you why again. But we've got a take profit just here at 27,108, which is fine. But what we're going to do is we're going to update this take profit to a limit order. Because we're pretty much going to be following this, we can risk it a little bit with limit orders. Limit orders can be a bit touchy sometimes. This is why I don't use them for stop losses, because if the price zooms through that stop loss and it keeps on going, then, you know, you're going to have a pretty bad time, because if you're working on a scalping basis and a risk basis as well, it can literally like liquidate your account in one go. So you've got to be careful there. But with the take profits, And if you're following it as well, you can be a bit looser with it. So in order to set a take profit limit order with this, then you can just use this little section here. So you pop your price in and then 100% and then hit close. What that'll do is that'll set a new limit order, take profit just here. So we can get rid of this one, which is the old market order, and then that's fine. And this will be cancelled. So when the stop loss gets hit, or if the stop loss gets hit, sorry, then this will automatically cancel this take profit. Make sure that that's all set up and correct, because the last thing you want is for it to hit stop loss and then zoom back down and then open another short, blah, blah, blah. And sorry, open another long, because it would effectively be buying, but it's a closed short, so it will just be cancelled anyway. And it does that all for you, which is pretty handy. We are bouncing quite hard at the moment, so let's hope the first trade doesn't go straight to stop loss. That would be a bit annoying. So let's talk about the strategy. So we have this trade set up. We don't really need to pay too much attention to it. There is an open ETH trade as well, which is done by accident. But again, I am not too fussed about that because there's such a small amount in there. It doesn't really matter. But let's talk about our scalping strategy, which is why we're all here. And then we can get back into talking about the life and love of block party trading and some technical analysis and whatever. But what we are doing right now is we are scalping, obviously, day trading. So for those of you who don't know, scalping and day trading is essentially trading on real small time frames, usually 5 minutes and below. 15 minutes can still be deemed as like scalping or day trading and such. But usually it's around about 5 minutes and below. And what it is just essentially working with very, very small targets. Depending on what asset you're on, BTC will pretty much always be below 1%. Quite rarely is it above 1%. And yeah, it all works from a kind of like risk reward basis. You really want to be working on a basis of at least kind of 1-to-1 and higher than 1 usually. People do have a lot of success with, I say negative risk rewards. So let's say a risk reward of like 1 to 0.5. And what a risk reward basically means is, here's a great example. Like if we've got a stop loss of 0.36%, then my risk reward for this strategy is 1-to-1. And that means that my take profit will always be equal to my stop loss, which means I stand to lose as much as I can gain per trade. And this is great because, with this strategy that we're using, it has a back-tested win rate of, it's around about like 66% on BTC, which is pretty high. So obviously, if you're taking quite a lot of trades over the course of the day, week, month, whatever, it averages out, and you're always in this positive. If you can just keep on being consistent, taking all the trades, and being very diligent with, your entry type. So you're not market entering all the time, market exiting all the time. Fees can hurt you. But we'll talk about that in a minute because MEXC, which is like my new favorite exchange in the world, we are affiliates with them for sure, but we've been affiliates for ages kind of thing. We're affiliates with pretty much all exchanges, to be honest. But it's quite, we've got another. We've got a bull signal now. That's interesting. All right. So as strategy suggests, we should be taking this trade as well. So we've got a long and a short. Interesting. Let's place the long there. This is interesting. See if we can get a bit of a better entry than that. Place it down here. I'm pretty happy with that stop losses, so I don't need to adjust that. Okay, so we now have a long in there as well. My ETH pairs at the bottom. Okay, so there's a long. Let's be very careful now with making sure we don't add the wrong prices. So this is really interesting what's happened. You don't see it very often. That's why I'm a little bit perplexed by it. A short followed by a long so quickly. And the good thing about this indicator, which again we'll run through a lot more with, is that it hedges for you quite well. So it doesn't, if the market is shifting, changing, it'll get you into those new direction trades pretty quickly to offset your potential losses in the other direction. Hedging is super important within this kind of trading, because often you'll find yourself in periods of consolidation and ranging and stuff like that, where it can really hurt you when you get into those ranges and consolidations, and you've got an indicator that is so like trend reliant. Those kind of strategies can really hurt. So sometimes it's just better to not trade in those periods. But it comes back to the age-old thing of, how do you know when you're in a consolidation period? How do you know when you're in a ranging period? How do you know you're in a trending period? And for how long? So if you know that, then you don't need anything else, do you? Because you just trade when it's in a trend and you go in that direction. So it's not as easy. Well, as you can see, what I'm doing here is I'm not kind of panicking about getting in this stop loss. I don't want to take too long, for sure, but I don't need to frantically make sure I get it in. So as we can see at the moment, let's see those. Make sure we concentrate. Why is that? What's going on? Stop loss. Okay, stop playing with me, please. So stop loss is 27,165. 27,165. Okay. In you go. So all of you, and then the take profit is here. There we go. Price. Trigger price is too close to the current price. No, it's not. Oh, let's see what happens. Oh, it's absolutely just been a bit faffy. So obviously, it gives you the little warning if it's within a very close price, but we're absolutely fine. Well, as you've learned, it's always good to read things. So currently we have a hedged BTC long and short at the moment. So we may end up closing one a little bit earlier on. Who knows? Let's shorten this up a bit so we can see the separation in trades. And these are the two trades that we're in at the moment. We don't actually have, so we can get rid of this take profit and put in a limit order just there. Which shall we do that? Let's leave that there for now. And reason being, so as we were talking about just before we got that signal come up, we're talking about the strategy. So the strategy that we're using is, actually, we were talking about risk reward, weren't we? So we know that the risk reward and how that works is you've got to base your take profit on whatever your risk reward multiplier is for your stop loss. So super easy. And then with that in mind, you always trade the same amount of risk per trade. So for example, I am trading with a $100 balance, or I started with a $100 balance. And I've been trading with 10% risk per trade, which is very high if that is, a big part of your allocation, but this is $100. So 10% in the grand scheme of things isn't very high. And one of the big reasons why I'm using $100 for this is to prove that, you can actually make a decent amount of money. Whichever walk of life you're from, money's money. Like, you can make a pretty decent amount of money from using $100. And the indicator that we're using is Block Party Indicator, as you can see up here. Really awesome indicator. I'll talk about this a lot during these live streams. And I'm pretty much using exclusively that. So the Block Party Indicator is the proprietary algorithm indicator that powers pretty much all of Block Party's stuff, to be honest. I mean, we use it in various different assets, various different timeframes, and we do section off some signals into different areas. But for the most part, I use this exclusively for scalping, for swing trading, because it's so strong. We spent 3 or so years building indicators and looking for the best possible algorithm to like help us along. And, we ended up settling on this. We had a previous incarnation of this, which was called the Impulse. Excellent indicator, but not long afterwards, we refined that a lot more. And we found a few, we feel like we found the magic bullet in this indicator. So we put the Impulse as a more available indicator into labs. So you get hold of that via labs, which will have that and loads of other indicators. In a couple of weeks' time, we're going to have a big launch for that, which will basically be so cool. The ideas that we've got, so it's going to be a bit more, access to strategies like conventional indicators, frameworks, really cool stuff. And so Impulse is in there if you guys want to use that. That's going to end up just being a one-off price, so you can get that, and then you get access to all indicators and everything the Block Party releases thereafter. This, however, this is more of our actual core strategy. This is the one we use, so this sits separately. Block Party Indicator, you can actually get access to it through our website, which is, no surprise, blockpartytrading.com. And I'll show you where you can get it here. And it's a good thing we took that long, so it looks like the price is bouncing pretty hard. So yeah, I think we'll end up breaking even on this, which is not the end of the world. But it doesn't look like anything too crazy is going to happen here. So we'll just quickly jump on over to website. So jumping over to the website, and you can head on over to indicators. Gives you a bit of information. It's got the full guide and everything. It's got a full video down here as well, which we just recently recorded. So you can look at the full tutorial. Everything on all of our products actually have like a 7-day free trial. So you can try out everything. And yeah, it's an awesome indicator. You can sign up to it just pretty much on any page, to be honest. The memberships are all here. You can join Signals, which basically is all of our, all of our live trades that we do. So they're more swing trades, to be honest. Then they've got the awesome newsfeed. I'll cover this a lot on what we do. The newsfeed is one of my favorite tools that we do. It's a really like professionally curated channel on Telegram, and it's also on the back end of this desktop as well, which you get your own portal for. And it has like, we on these signals, we do like USD spot, BTC, futures, long, short. Again, predominantly like swing trades. I find that, shorter term scalp trades are just not very effective for signals, to be honest, because it's very hard for people to follow, very hard for people to manage. And, swing trades, everything that we do on our signals is all risk managed as well. And you can copy trade them all through Annie, which is a link on each trade. We throw in like analysis in there as like, BTC analysis. You get access to the community and the market scanner, which is like 24/7 signals. So even when we're not trading, we'll actually pump all of the 6-hour signals from the Block Party Indicator into there. So you can trade with the same strength signals that we do, pretty much 24/7. The only difference is there we do generally select them a little bit with a bit more refinement when we're doing them. So it has 4 channels, which are all really awesome, and you can get that for $49 a month, or cheaper if you want to go annually. It's like 2 months off, I think, 20%. Yeah, 2 months free. So it works out about the same. And then you've got the indicator, which is what we're using now, and this gives you access to all of Signals and also the indicator which I'm using now. And yeah, I mean, it's just awesome. This is what I use the most. Then automation is our newest package, which has absolutely everything. So it'll give you free access to all of the automated trading bots on Annie. So that means no kind of fixed kind of like monthly fee or profit share. You just pay the one-off fee per month, and it's a great deal because it's only $50 more than the indicator. So, you can have your automated bots running in the background. You can do your live trading and scalping using the indicator, and keep your eye on like kind of stuff for macro news and hodls with the signals. So it looks all pretty good. And then we've got, like I said, in a couple of weeks, we're re-releasing, I should say, Labs in its new format, which will be a one-off price, and it'll have all sorts of awesome indicators. If you want to find out more about the block party indicator, head on over to guides, and there's a full section here, block party indicator. Hello. Got some more signals coming in. Let's just jump on this. You go away. And another bullish signal. So let's double up on this signal here. And we'll drop the stop loss to the same area. Ooh, don't get away from the price, please. Come on. I don't want to jump in at the current price, to be honest. Come on. All right, wait for that to retrace. Come on, retrace, baby. Now, you don't want to chase these signals. It's one thing. I know it's a small amount, but what happens is, soon as it's exponentially bad when you start to chase signals with risk reward basis, because not only does the risk reward get bigger and further away, but your take profit gets bigger and further away as well, or you have to leave it the same and you make less profit and you can actually lose more. So just be very careful with chasing signals. It's not good practice at all, as tempting as it may be. Keep that so it's separated. I do hope we get in on this trade. I think it should retrace. It looks like it's breaking the 50 daily moving average at the moment, which is quite interesting. So we're either going to get rejected pretty hard here, or we're going to break out, because we've got quite a nice little break on the trend line here. Arguably, no, not quite. Let's see, got also a divergence going on there as well. Interesting. I'll have a look at a longer term BTC analysis in a bit. But yeah, I want this trade to retrace so I can get it all set up. Open order. Buy long. Might as well set up the take profits and stop losses here. Interesting. Fine. I'll just close 1.4, confirm. Oh, there we go. I think we got it. Now, did that add in my take profits? Yeah, it did, 1.4. So the only problem you really have here is that, as you can see, like the take profits, like we don't get separate orders, which is a little bit annoying. I wish you could set it up as separate trades entirely, so it kind of doubles up. And right now we have 3 trades open. We have a short, 1 in BTC, and we've got 2 trades long in BTC, which is fine. But you just got to be pretty conscious of what you are. That's why I have these these long and short positions quite militantly always set up on this side, so I can get a quick visualization of what's going on over here, because this gets pretty crowded pretty quickly. Currently got the market exits, which I'm not too sad about, to be honest. Reason being, which is super cool, I'll tell you about, running you through the fees on MEXC in a second. But I'll finish off this general strategy, what I'm doing at the moment. So I'm using the block party indicator on the 3-minute time frame with a risk reward of 1-to-1, and I'm pretty much taking every single trade that comes through. Each signal is identified by a little bear up here or a little bull down here, which is actually a cow, but you know, for the sake of this and also the available emojis, it is a bull or cow. I don't know, whichever one you want, don't care. And then the only other, so this is the only indicator I use. The only other one I do have is our own personal CVD, cumulative volume delta, done in our own way, if you will. And this really helps me kind of draw on some support and resistances, which I like to use. And I like to use the trend lines, but also more importantly, I prefer to use it for divergences to help not necessarily dictate whether I'm going to take a trade or not, but to help determine sometimes whether to get out of a trade, whether to close it early, because you don't have to wait until it hits take profit. You can close it a bit early. You know, I do that quite a lot. Certainly when I'm kind of nearing the end of the day. If I'm nearing the end of the day, I'm pretty much up on the day, and my trade is in profit, then I'll pretty much always close it. So I've got nothing open at the end of the day. I don't know why. You know, it's just a psychological thing. I prefer to do that. But we'll do a little bit of analysis in a minute once I finish talking about it all. So what assets do I trade? Pretty much Bitcoin mainly for obvious reasons. It's got really high liquidity. It leads the market. Like when you're looking at scalping and stuff like that, there's not a huge amount of point, in my personal opinion, there's not a huge amount of point in trading multiple assets because pretty much everything follows Bitcoin in some degree or another. There's a few outliers which are generally based on fundamental announcements, news, Fed announcements. Even Fed announcements, to be fair, actually will turn the whole market, and mainly BTC, which then in turn trickles down into everything else. So I trade BTC, but that's not to say that I'll only be trading Bitcoin. What I'm saying is I'll only be trading one asset at a time. The assets which I will be trading, as you can see just down here, is the top 10 assets by market cap. But for the most part, it'll be BTC, Ethereum. Doge is actually pretty fun to trade, and so is XRP. BNB is a funny one. You've got to be a bit wary of trading exchange tokens because they can be manipulated. You know, like it's funny, weird things. It's a bit hard to use FTX as like a benchmark example for this, but you know, they were always doing some funny things with burning their tokens, buying back their tokens, which it's not like that's not just a unique thing to FTX, or was a unique thing to FTX, depending on whether it opens back up or not, which I hope not, to be honest. I mean, that's a bit of a kick in the teeth, you know, the whole FTX thing. But I do hope people get the money back. Emails have gone out, which would be quite nice. Luckily, I managed to pretty much get all of my money out. I left a little bit in there just because I think I was locked up in FTT, which was a bit annoying. But then I converted that out and then changed it to Doge. So it's currently sat there in Doge doing whatever. So we'll see what kind of comes of that. But it's not an amount that I'll lose any sleep over. You know, sadly, a lot of people got really, really stung by that, which is horrible. And I'll be honest, you know, we were big advocates of FTX. We thought it seemed to be relatively fine. It wasn't until, you know, the 11th hour when we started to see some real kind of scary ripples coming from there, and we thought, oh heck, you know, let's start to move away from it. So anyway, back to the strategy is what we're talking about, what we trade. So we know what indicator we're using. And then for the actual indicator itself, the alerts that I've set are for block party signals 1 and 2. I'm not following the trend line breaks, so I ignore those, which the trend line breaks are basically these. We'll take a bit of a deeper dive into the block party indicator and certainly what settings I use for it anyway, which will probably be very different from what you'd end up using. But, you know, at the end of the day, there's no right or wrong way to use it. There's just the profitable way. So whatever makes you profit, it doesn't really matter. But the core foundation of this is the signals. There's a whole heap of logic that goes into these. I don't look at trend. I don't look at, I don't look at trend. The only thing that I do look at is, are we going into a Fed announcement? Then I don't particularly want like heaps of one-way weighted signals open. Like I don't want loads of long signals open when I'm going into a Fed announcement, because that can absolutely rock it. 9 times out of 10, it'll just be extreme volatility, and pretty much always enough volatility to completely 86 all of your scalp trades. In macro sense, it doesn't make too much of a big difference. I guess it can do, it depends how impactful the news is, but for the most part, you'll see volatility. It will start to make a bit of a move in one direction, and then it'll pretty much even out to what it was doing before. So it's just a bit of excitement, really. And it's not you just want to be conscious of not trading or scalping specifically going into those announcements too much. They can work out quite well for you, but it is completely a flip of a coin what will happen. So that I do pay attention to. Trends. I don't really pay attention to trend when I'm scalping. I'm sitting on 3 minutes because it doesn't really make a huge amount of difference. What you're looking for is the more impulsive moves, like what is happening is market structure changing, breaking in this very, very small time frame. If it is, then that's what you're jumping on. Is it going to matter if you're above or below the 200 daily moving average? Absolutely not. Even the 20-day moving average? Absolutely not. Is it going to matter if you're approaching these moving averages? Yes, it will, because they, check out the guide, check out the strategy, check out the block party indicator video, because moving averages on really significant time frames, significant lengths, and significant calculations. So if it's on the EMA 20, 50, or 200 daily, then there will almost always be price action going on around these moving averages, as you can kind of see here. So this is the 20 daily moving average, which is probably the least impactful one, being the fastest. But we've kind of come here, and as you can see, the price it's halted, it's holding, it's acting as a pretty obvious support here. But are we going to lose it? Are we going to break? My money would be looking at this on the 3 minute time frame, judging what the next few days would be. Is I don't think we're going to hold, to be honest. So sorry, this is the 50. The white line is the 50, and then which is quite significant, to be fair. The 20, you saw that broke, and then it tried to retest, and it just slammed down. We lost that so bad. And then these are moving averages, guys. So this is why it's really important to pay attention to them on these. So look what happens. Like I said, we break, we retest, and we slam down, and then it's not a coincidence that we've come down here and we've halted on the 50 daily moving average. That's how it works. Traders, the moving averages, the trend lines, the support and resistances, these are the 3 biggest things within trading. These are things that everybody looks at. A lot of people argue that Fibonacci is really important. Yeah, yes and no, to be honest. Yes, in Forex, definitely. Yes, in stocks, definitely. Crypto, maybe in Bitcoin, maybe in Ethereum, pretty much other assets, not massively, I don't think. It's certainly, I see Fibonacci, and this, there's a lot of trades out there that are very successful with the Fibonacci, which is fine. And I do not say that it's wrong to use or right to use. It's just something I don't use. I find it extremely subjective. I much prefer kind of more mechanical approach to trading, where when certain things happen, not kind of happen, when certain things happen, then that's when you take a trade entry. Little things like, which I almost did earlier on in the trading session, which is, if we see a signal forming, we don't enter straight away. We wait for the candle to form. Even if it is 30 seconds away from the candle forming, then that is still a break of strategy if you enter it before, because the price can quickly retrace, and then you're in a wrong trade. Well, you're in a non-trade kind of thing. You're in a non-signal because it went the other way. And that's just down to impatience. If you'd have waited 30 more seconds, you would have known that. So yeah, like I said, it's strategy. There's a million and one strategies out there on YouTube about what is the 95% winning strategy and all this kind of stuff. Some do work, some are pretty good. I think one thing to bear in mind is I've gone full circle on seeing strategies on YouTube. In that when I first went on there, I was like, oh my God, this is incredible. But then when I looked more into them, I was like, this is all just bullshit. But then when you start to look back into them as with more of a professional eye, you start to think like, I see what they're doing. I see what they're trying to do, see what they're trying to achieve. And you can quickly spot what the really overfitted strategies are to certain assets and timeframes, and also directions as well. We touched on it earlier on, like the biggest downfall of any strategy is consolidation and ranging markets. They're so horrible. Like when you get into consolidation and ranging markets, what you really want to be doing is setting yourself up like a grid bot or an aggressive DCA bot, and just letting that volatility or in that movement around a centralized range do all the work for you. Trading for big moves in that range is very hard to do. Unless you're coming down to a much smaller time frame, then it really is a very tricky way to trade. So when you're looking at strategies that are centralized around like trends, so super trends, moving average strategies, even ADX based strategies as well. Not ADX, sorry, the momentum based strategies. ADX, sorry. And also the directional index is a quite popular strategy there. When that's in play, what's happening there is you are pretty much exclusively entering at the worst part of the trade. Like, so when it's ranging up, you are entering. See if we can find a loose example. So this, we are obviously in a ranging period or consolidation period right here. So as you can see, we have a very distinctive top and a very distinctive bottom. Actually, I don't like that. There we go. So we're in a very obvious range just here. This is a nightmare to trade in for trend-based strategies, because unless the trend-based strategy that you're using knows that it's in consolidation and basically stops, or it switches, it's got some, not mechanical learning, but it's got a switch that will change the actual baseline parameters to a little bit sharper, then you're going to be taking entries so you come down and you'll take an entry here because it thinks that this is going to be a new trend, and you're going to continue downwards, whereas it reverts, you'll get stopped out. And then you'll take an entry here because it thinks it's a new trend, and so on and so forth. Whereas, your trend-based strategies are built to work in, trends like this. And 9 times out of 10, they'll be like kind of in a pullback format. So we'll come down, go up here, and then you'll trigger something around about here kind of thing, or you'll trigger something around about here. So you'll continue down and you'll take a few trades, you'll take a few wins, and you'll, make a good amount of money in this downward trend. You'll almost always get a stop loss at the bottom when it's reverting. But when you're in periods like this, it's a nightmare. You'll just end up pretty much losing all the profit you made here in this small section. So be careful when using strategies. The good thing about the block party indicator is, as you can see, there is pretty much no discrimination between trend. And so it's very consistent throughout. Even in this downward trend, let's say, we're taking longs as well. And, you get to see how kind of like successful. Let's zoom out a little bit. I know I'm using half a screen here. Let's get rid of this to make seeing it a bit easier. So we pretty much know that all of these bear signals, all these ones here, are going to be successful because we're in a downward trend. What we want to see is how successful is the bullish signals. And, as we can see, this little range of signals here, all of these would have been a win. This would have been a loss, actually. But we don't overcommit on the bullish signals. Like if you'd have taken this trade, that would have been a win. If you'd have taken this trade, that would have been a win. All the while would still be kind of profiting on all of these bearish signals. And we'd have sneaked out a little win just there. That would have been a loss, and that would have been a loss. So, we have like a couple of losses on bullish trades on the way down. But for the most part, as soon as we get into this kind of consolidation section, we start to take, that would have been a win. That I think would have been a bit of a loss. That would have been a win. These two would have been a win. I'd probably exited once we got up there. Then win, win, win. And that arguably would have been a win. My stop loss would have been down here. And then, yeah, and then these two would have been a nice little winner as well, because we see a movement up. And then we take win, win, win. That would have been a loss. And then win, win, win. That would have been a loss. And then win. So you can see, like, whilst we're even in this kind of ranging period, we're still very solid on the wins. Whilst we're in the trending period, we're still very solid on the wins. So it's prudent to not be bogged down with, it's not easy. I'm definitely not saying it's easy to be trading in trending period. You still have to be a little bit more of a little bit of a ninja with where you're entering. And ultimately, you're just targeting the pullbacks. That really is the safest way to do it. You break out, you make an impulsive move, you get rejected, you come back, and then if the support holds or resistance rejects, then that's your entry point. It's pretty much just rinse and repeat on that. Use various different methods, whether it's Fibonacci, whether it's moving average, support and resistances, or even crossovers. There's multiple different ways. At the end of the day, everything kind of ends up in the same place. It's very kind of rare that you're not looking at some sort of like mean reversion or breakout pullback is kind of almost essentially like the basis of pretty much all trading strategies. Of course, when you start to dive into the automation and bot style of trading, it's very, very different, because then it can be a little bit more volume controlled. So as soon as volume comes in, you take a trade, and then the automatic framework sets up, usually on a DCA basis. So really you're just looking for volatility, where you'll just buy, sell as soon as there's a little bump up. Pretty safe way to do it. Although if you get a little bit too trigger happy with it, or the bot provider is sending out for you too many signals, or the DCA structure is a little bit wrong, it can get very expensive very quickly. And yeah, you can get hold up in trades for a very long time. But with DCA trading, if you're not like quite on top of stopping and starting bots, it's very rare that you won't get your capital locked up. But that's the trade-off for 100% win rate. Yeah, so we've diverted nicely away from talking about the scalping strategy that we're using today. So where we at, obviously we know our risk rewards, we know what our entries are. We enter on the close of each of these signal candles. We're using a 3-minute time frame. Currently, we're using Bitcoin, but we can use pretty much any of the top 10. The back testing, which is all on the website, you can check it out, is really successful. Like on BTC, ETH, Doge, XRP are pretty much my favorites. And then it does crush you a lot on the other assets. But I'll tell you about the merits of using other assets versus BTC and Ethereum. But you've also got to be super duper conscious. Like, you've got to enter every single trade with a limit order. It's just free money. Like if you're not entering a scalp style trade with a limit order, in some circumstances, if you're using the wrong exchange or the wrong amount of fees, you can be giving away up to and over half of your entire profit and trade amount, for that matter, on just fees, which are so avoidable. So let's talk about fees and everything like that. If we go on here, you can actually see what my fees are. So MEXC at the moment, I don't know how long this is going to be for, hopefully forever, because that'd be amazing. But all maker fees, so on spot trading, it's completely fee free, right? It's 0% on maker and taker, which is just insane. But I'd be a bit cautious with spot trading on MEXC, because I have zero idea how big the spot liquidity is. I do know the futures liquidity is pretty good, but the spot liquidity, I've got no idea. So you're cool, guys. If you want to use it, go for it. It's a pretty good exchange. It's pretty big exchange, bigger than I actually first thought it was when I first heard about it. It's not like BitGet's another kind of, I see BitGet and MEXC in the same kind of arena. MEXC's bigger, like nothing wrong with either of them. I think they've been around for a long time. Things like BitGet, I think, pumped a lot of money into the marketing side of things. They've got like Messi as like a sponsor or an advocate of it all. But just because he's an advocate, the same thing can happen. And I'm not advocating any exchange here. After FTX collapse, I just don't do that. I honestly thought exchanges like FTX, with where crypto is at the moment, I thought it'd be untouchable. Apparently not. And, I'm a trader. I read charts. I'm not an expert at what goes on behind the scenes in exchanges or in blockchain technology. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert in all that or know everything there is to know about it, because I don't need to. Like I look at charts, I look at technical analysis. Yes, I'll pay a little bit of attention to news, but I don't let it dictate what my decisions are going to be. So sometimes being too smart for your own good can actually negatively impact you. So sometimes, guys, honestly, don't overthink it. I'm not saying don't learn about all the tokenomics. Some of it can be quite interesting. Certainly, if you're a hodler and a macro trader, that they are the kind of things you do want to be looking at. But yeah, like I look at what is best for me right now, and when I'm trading it, and what makes me the most money. And right now, MEXC is awesome. MEXC is probably the best exchange I've ever traded on for scalping. And it really comes down to, you know, it's actually got a great interface. It really does. I really enjoy trading on this exchange, on this actual fascia. Whereas, you know, the only thing that could make this better is if they integrated MEXC into, which I've actually already sent them a message about. If they integrated MEXC into the brokerage system for TradingView, so you could literally just send, you know, like here's a good example. So you click on one of these things on the position tool, you go to create limit order. Yes, paper trading, come on, I thought that was already up. If you click create limit order, you can literally set up your order straight from here. So you don't have to be on this really at all. And then you hit buy and it does it straight away. I mean, that for me is the absolute dream scenario. To trade everything from TradingView would be so good. Might come in here to adjust limit orders a little bit, but you know, you don't have to. With the fees this low, you can actually be a little bit, you can be a bit frivolous, to be honest. The next step, you know, obviously if TradingView was a little bit more lax and they allowed you to use your own personal indicators on this chart, then equally I'd just be using this one screen, because I'd love to get away from having two screens. It's so annoying. You know, unfortunately, due to NDAs and stuff, we can't talk about it, but we are consulting with a company at the moment that is hopefully going to be solving that problem, which is super exciting. But yeah, you know, we can't share any further details on that at the moment. However, yeah, like I said, it's kind of like all my dreams coming true. We got pretty close actually with BitGet on TradingView, which I announced to the community, which was awesome. And for a very short period, they allowed you to set up a personal trade from BitGet, from TradingView straight to BitGet, which was, oh my God, it was so awesome. I loved it. And then they flaked and it just allowed you to open the trade. So it wouldn't open your take profit or stop loss. So you still had to go into the exchange to set that. So it's not really cutting down any time, to be honest. And then, you know, we started with the copy trading aspect of it all, which started really good. You know, like I spoke to the guys who are in charge of all the API stuff and integration, and they were like, yeah, you know, we're going to be introducing the take profits and stop loss into the TradingView terminal. Great, big tick. And then as a copy trader as well, because I wanted to share the trades with everyone, because we've always struggled to be able to share, you know, scalping realistically. Like we can't share scalps on Annie. It's just not quick enough. We can't share scalps on the channel. People won't be able to enter them quick enough. We'll just end up sending more trades out that are not getting entered than getting entered. So again, pointless. People get annoyed. We get annoyed. And it's just a waste of our time, to be quite honest. So we thought we were getting there with BitGet, and we trialed it for a little bit. Now it was on the basis that TradingView was going to integrate this. So the two speed bumps that we hit, one was you can't send trades from TradingView straight to BitGet as a copy trader. That doesn't exist. That won't happen for some reason. I can't really understand why. So not the end of the world, but it would have been a huge perk for us. Would have been like infinitely more successful, to be honest, because we'd be much sharper with our entries, much more accurate with the entries, and much more fluid, which is a big thing. You know, it's not just a case of you've got to chase that entry. You've got to get the right entry. You've got to make sure that all of the people following you are going in the right entry as well. So, you know, there's a lot more things to think about when sending out copy trades and stuff like that than just getting the right entry. Like, I cannot begin to tell you how complex it is, and how considerate you need to be as a provider in order to make sure that everybody is benefiting. Like, what's the point in just sending out trades and you're, at best breaking even because of certain factors? And then, the next thing as well is I militantly spoke to the support about this, which, to be honest, like I'm not like being negative about them in any way whatsoever. I think it was just a miscommunication. But I did speak to them a lot about making sure that it is limit entry in, limit entry out. Because without limit entry in, limit entry out, if you've got an exchange which has, like, on average about 0.06% take fee, 0.02%, let's say, maker fee, if you are entering a trade, let's say, for example, that is 0.25%, which I think, if we take a look at this trade here, this is 0.29%. So it looks quite big on chart. It's not really a crazy amount. If we enter that trade and we enter in with a market order or taker order and out with a market order, taker order, that's 0.12% of a possible 0.29% trade. That's like, 33% of your entire trade gone into fees there. So that was an issue. And like I said, the confusion that I was having on my personal, like, so it was copying my personal CopyTrade, my personal futures. So all of my trades were going in. When I was looking at the order history and everything, it's like, okay, all of my trades are at least going in as limit orders. So when you start to kind of break it down a little bit, it's like, okay, this is slightly achievable. But then upon reflection, as we can see, our hedged longs are now should just be surpassing the short, which is quite good news. So hopefully this will go up to take profit on those two. And we'll make around about 10% on, hopefully 10% on the entire capital shortly. So it wasn't until one of our awesome subscribers, Vikik, he kind of shared his trading details data with me, and I managed to had to get pretty granular about them all and have a look at where the discrepancies were, because the realized profit on the actual CopyTrader dashboard there was showing profit, pretty good profit actually. And then I looked at my personal one, I was showing all right profit, not great profit, but enough to be happy with. But then after it wasn't until I did, I think, a 3.5% winning day. So very happy with it. And then, I got shared that the traders' followers had a losing day. How is that? We have a 3.5% winning day, which is pretty amazing. And then the users, the traders actually have a losing day, which absolutely sucks. So I looked into it, I was just like, this is not sustainable. If we want to trade on Bitcoin and Ethereum, which was what we were focusing on, and most of the trades were coming in under, around about 0.4%, 0.5%, pretty much like 50% of even profitable trades was being eaten up by fees. It was just unsustainable. So it got to a point where it's like, I can only be sustainable if all of my trades, all my scalps and stuff like that are at least 1.1, 1.2%. And then it's still taking around about 11% of the entire trade in fees. So, just like at a point where so I've got to be 11% better, in order to make profit. So it doesn't really affect the swing trade so much. Like once you start to get past about 2%, it just doesn't make a difference at all. Got another long shot out here. So it looks like we're going to stack our longs quite a lot now. Don't be too aggressive on that. Let's pop it back down here and then follow the same route. So it's actually looking like we could be seeing a bit of a bounce here. Create limit order. I can chase this. 1, 2. An order. Where's this one? Let's get these in here quickly. Stop loss. 1, 2. So hopefully that'll retrace and pick up. So we've got 3 longs at the moment. Positions. Yeah, long's looking quite healthy. Anyway, so we entered that one. So you saw how quick, it's not going to retrace, is it? You're going to go straight up. I'm going to have to cancel you. If I just cancel on this screen here. Open position. We don't have to open it unless it actually hits take profit. Yeah, okay. So the long and short of it all was that the fees were just too unsustainable on BitGet in order to do scalping. And yeah, we considered like doing it, just pushing through swing trades. And the benefit of it was because we managed to work out a deal with BitGet that we would be made whole. So we could make this CopyTrade thing completely free for everyone, but we're made whole by the volume fees that were made by the traders using it, which was great because these are fees you're paying anyway. It just meant that we could bring a community to it and volume to it, and we'd get paid from that. So it's a win for everyone. The exchange wins because they're getting more volume. The users win because they're getting access to a free copy trader with no kind of performance fee, and we win because it's such a nice little tool to have, and some of the potential, or so I thought, real benefits were looking pretty awesome. But unfortunately, like I said, without the fees being able to be made, or at least like the only thing that I needed is for it to be limit orders, to be honest. If I could limit in and limit out, then we would still be using it. But since we can't, that's just, it sucks. So that's where we are. So what was the point in doing swing trading? We've got Annie, our system. It would just be another thing for us to have to manage, have to monitor. So we preferred to just, we're going to can that and just focus on swing trades going to Annie. And then if you do want to do scalping, then this is what this is all for. Looks like I don't think we're going to retrace. Okay, so we should be hitting stop loss on the short pretty soon. And hopefully it's going to pump right up. I just don't know what to do with this trade here. I'll leave it. I mean, if we closed everything now, that would be a 6% up, which is pretty good for a day. Definitely want to be aiming for around about 10% per day. 20% is a really good day. Big retrace there. I say big, a whopping 0.03%. Yeah, so BitGet no longer. We're not going to be doing that anymore. It's just another headache for us to manage, and we're just fed up of trying to work around other parameters and making things work. We want to, realistically, we just want a system that works for us, not the other way around. So Annie is great. Annie's fucking amazing for like swing trades and slightly mid to long-term trade setups. We can manage it really well. We can really keep a good eye on risk management. But for scalping and stuff like that, we still haven't found a solution that is super quick execution, not only for us, but also for the traders as well. And really, really kind of wasn't the biggest fan of how the allocation was operating with on BitGet. Again, this is not me naysaying BitGet at all. It's actually a really good platform to trade on. I really like it as an exchange. But unfortunately, like I said, that the things that we couldn't move forward with were the fees, and they're not about to change fees. I asked, can we make it limit orders? And I can understand the reasoning not to, because with limit orders, it can leave them with open trades for users. So if a limit order doesn't get fully filled, then that will leave you with here we go, game on. Right, if this gets to 10% up, I'm going to close it. Right, there we go. So first bits of orders, we're actually 10% up today, which is pretty cool. I'm going to ignore this ETH trade. I'm only joking, of course, I'll take into consideration, but we'll see where it goes. So I've actually closed everything. Let's get rid of this open long trade. So as you can see there, the short actually pumped up. Okay, that was interesting. So let's have a look at what the fees were on that. Oh, okay, shit, yeah. So I shouldn't have. So that this is the problem. Okay, and then that would have been a big one as well. So fees, we lost like $3 there, just because impatience, not paying attention, talking when I should have been trading. So we lost $3 there on fees alone, which would have put us quite comfortably at a let's see, 22, around about 8% up on that trade for the day, which would have been awesome. However, because of that, we're only 5.1% up on entire capital at the moment. So still absolutely awesome. We're 5% up, which I will take any day of the week. One thing I do love about MEXC, which BitGet didn't have, and again, I sound like I'm really panning BitGet at the moment. I promise I'm not, is they didn't actually have any kind of P&L tracker at all. Like it was you could download a CSV file, an Excel file, and sure, you can put it into your own kind of system. Like, I don't want that. I want something like this. I want a really nice, pretty graph that I can just come onto it and be like, yeah, look, I'm doing awesome. Look how much money I'm making, guys. But this for me, I literally couldn't like hope for a better graph. And like, certainly when I'm streaming, certainly when I'm doing like live sharing and stuff like this, it's just so good. So these are actually the results so far. I need to update the trading there. So these are the results so far that I've been trading since this, to be fair, this was messing around on the 19th. So I'm doing a bit of proper trading on the 20th. Come on, Christian, days. One comes after the other usually. Yeah, this is kind of me getting a little bit more familiar with it. I'm relatively new, in all fairness, to MEXC. But like I said, we've been affiliates with them for a long time, but that's when they were more just kind of breaking into Europe a little bit. So, you know, they wanted European-based communities and stuff like that, or at least providers, to help support them out. And then we got on board pretty quickly. And to be honest, like the actual affiliate deal we have with them, we haven't pushed too much. Cards on the table, you can apply to be an affiliate, which I just actually tried on the sly. So I applied to be an affiliate with some of the kind of groups that we have and stuff like that to see if I could get it on a separate account. And I did, and you get up to 50%. You can get 50% of people's fees who sign up, which is currently what we have on the affiliate deal at the moment. Unfortunately, the benefits to users aren't really there. So, I mean, by all means, use our affiliate deal for sure. But honestly, like you're not actually going to be seeing many benefits from it. You won't get any fee discounts from what I can see. I'll double check with our account manager. But yeah, like I said, we're pretty new to MEXC. But the whole point of this, I'm not here to peddle MEXC, because it can like peddle itself on its own merits. And that's what I'm about to talk about now. As you can see down here, check this out. Maker, 0% fees. This is insane. Taker, 0.02%. So what you saw just then when I did a flash close, I would never do that in a million years unless I had a taker fee of like 0.02%. So that's what it is, right? And this is for everyone right now. You can just sign up to MEXC and you can get this. And it is far and away the best scalping exchange, because you can just make so much money just from making sure that you limit order in, limit order out. If you limit order in and the price goes up 0.01%, you can limit order out and you can make 0.01% on that. Whereas pretty much on any other exchange, you would lose money on that trade because of the fees. And you can just be so aggressive trading like this. You know, as you can see, like these are some awesome results that I've been getting on this. And I've got to say, like a lot of this kind of like equity curve has been down to these amazing fees. Like I've never used, I just got to the tail end of coming along across Bybit when they were doing a rebate. Now, my God. So for a bit, Bybit were giving you a rebate of like 0.001%, something so small, for trading with them. And I just wish I'd known about that at the time, and I'd sort of set so many bots up on that. But yeah, I mean, right now this is amazing, and as you can see, with using this, and yeah, granted, I'm using $100 account at the moment for the sake of this, but you know, even with $100 account, I've made 25.59% profit in what day are we on now? In pretty much like in 3 days. You know, I didn't really trade that day, to be honest. So in about 3 days, maybe I'd say 2 proper days, two days and today of proper trading. You know, I've done like 25.59%, and that is exclusively using block party indicator. Taking those signals, you literally saw how easy that was. You know, we got into a short here, which had we have just left that, we'd have lost. But instead, you know, we rode up these 2 longs. We pretty much we made 5% on our entire total there. We're at 2 wins and 1 loss at the moment. So 66% win rate, which is exactly the win rate target for block party indicator. So no surprises there. And you know, this is kind of what I know. We got out of these trades early. We wouldn't usually do that, but in these hedging circumstances, one thing that I would say, like the whole point of hedging is so that it doesn't force a loss. And what just happened there is like, oh, okay, we took 2 longs in the direction, and it is nice that it retraced there. Now, so the interesting thing about what happened here is that the reason why my stop loss was here, right, is because there's a significant bit of price action just here. Right, so let's pop that on. So we know that there's significant price action there. As we came up here, blah, 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 we ended up getting into nice profit with these 2 trades here. We didn't actually get in on this trade, which is such a shame, because that would have, yeah, that would have added a whole bunch more, 50% more profit on, not 50%, but a good bit more profit on, maybe 1 or 2% more, maybe 1% more, so not a huge amount, but still, so it's a lot for one day. To here. But the reason why I did actually close, or was kind of prompted to close, was because I know that when we were coming into this, there was probably going to be a rejection, because this is a point of price action. This is where the stop loss is. The whole point, the reason this stop loss is here, is because there's going to be price action there. The logical thing, what you'd usually do is you'd give it a little bit more breathing room, which is kind of what you should do. But I tend to be a little bit more aggressive, to be honest. I prefer to kind of get in the trades that are going to go straight to take profit, as opposed to dancing around in this range, going up to that stop loss and coming back down or whatever. Yeah, I prefer to get in and out, which is why I'll be a bit more aggressive. The reason why you should be more aggressive with the stop losses, or you can be more aggressive with the stop losses, is because if I increase this to, let's say, I don't know, up here, to give this some nice breathing room around about, then it also means that I'd have to increase my take profit. So now this trade suddenly becomes not only longer in the stop loss direction, but longer in the take profit direction. And yeah, like, it's just because you've got a bigger stop loss, it doesn't mean it's going to improve your win rate. Because unless you're going to keep your take profit down here, let's say we keep our take profit there or whatever, and then we increase our stop loss, now our risk reward comes to 0.76. So it's not good, you know, like, that's when we start entering territory of like, oh God, you know, even with like a 60% win rate, that starts to, I don't know the exact maths there, but I think like 60 to 65% win rate there would start to be a break even or a loss. But yeah, let's go back to celebrating fees and how amazing this is. Traditionally, or before, within crypto, you would really struggle to be trading really small margins of like 0.1% trades, 0.15% trades, which is kind of where like Bitcoin's bread and butter is. So you're almost in a position where you can't trade Bitcoin fast and aggressively. Like with this indicator, we get around about between 5 and 10 trades a day. And that's, well, maybe about 9 trades in your trading session. So a trading session is like 9 till 5 or something like that, or whatever. It doesn't have to be that long. But that's just my kind of my working day. So I trade with this in the background. As you can see, it's really stress-free. I don't really have to do anything. I just wait for the signals and I enter them. You know, I'm diligent with the, my Oopsie daisy. I'm diligent with the risk. I'm diligent with the entry points. And that's pretty much all you got to be, all you got to do. I mean, I spent like 3 years of my life working towards building this. So, you know, whilst it looks pretty lazy on how to trade, that's the plan. You know, that's what I wanted. I wanted to not have to stress about entries. I wanted to not have to question my entries. This is an interesting one. I could actually still enter this trade. Did not enter. And then this is kind of nice for reflection. So TPE means take profit early. ENE did not enter. Loss means loss. In fact, actually, let's pop a stop loss on that so I know that went. It's not like I can't see it. Obviously, when it hit stop loss. But yeah, so sorry, going back to these trades, obviously I know there's going to be some sort of price action. It was either going to hit that and burst on up, or it was going to hit this and retrace. Now, when I'm in a position of 100% guaranteed, I'm going to make 5% of my entire capital today if I hit close now. That's what happened. I actually thought it was going to be 8%, to be honest. But I completely just negated the fees because we are trading on small targets here. But yeah, so, and you're hedged and you've got one trade that is definitely going to hit stop loss, and you've got these two trades that might hit take profit, but you are wholly in a profitable position. Just take it. I mean, it's day trading. We're scalping. We're not here to ride this wave up until the next halving. It doesn't matter. Like, we guaranteed hit that bank. It's amazing. So yeah, so currently we're 5% up on the day. Let's update that on my little for it. Oh, I've got someone on Twitch. Cool. I'm still new to this. Is my first ever live stream, by the way, for crypto trading. So I don't even understand, haven't even paid attention to the comments. And so I've just seen that now, which is great. There we go. Well, hopefully that gets back to you in my weird, look at that. I've done it so bad. Check how bad this reply is. See if you can see this. Go for it. Gross. But there you go. So let's wait for this question from Sloomy02. Hello, Sloomy02. But yeah, so fees are amazing. I mean, unfortunately, I don't know if MEXC is going to keep these fees up forever. I hope so. I mean, Bybit, when I jumped on that and you was getting the fee rebate, was like a dream to trade on. I think I managed to get like 2 weeks, 3 weeks of just scalping on there. Made some serious bank because you can just be so aggressive with that. And as you can see, you can be so aggressive with this now. Whereas these trades, if I'd have closed that in market order, so along with this stop loss, along with these trades, that 5% P&L on capital would have been a loss without question. And it's such a shame because like I said, that's the importance. We've just turned a 5% win for the day kind of thing on entire capital. That would have been a loss had we not been using MEXC or take orders. Like I kind of like, I wish, I suppose down the line, I'll show you how much more impact, like, you know, when using limit orders to exit trades, because what is pretty cool is you can just simply move. Let's actually jump into Ethereum. We can use this as an example. So right now, I don't actually have a take profit or stop loss setup on Ethereum, mainly because it's such a small amount. I don't care. But yeah, very, very, very bad attitude to have. Don't do that. So if we want to say, for example, be a bit more agile with the take profits, let's set a take profit around 1856 to close everything. Give it 100%. 1856. Ooh, no. 100,000% close. Okay. 1856. There we go. And then all of the Ethereum. Close it all. All. How much is in there? All teeny tiny amount. 100%. Okay, so that should, oh dear, I've closed it because that was a short. Stupid. Okay, well, there's your second loss. But yeah, we're not going to count that. Right, on the next trade, I'll set it up. Ethereum has been my absolute curse. 2 mistakes on there. Thank God it was not fat fingered. Let's get back to the nice safe haven of Bitcoin. Oh, didn't like that. Clearly haven't been trading other assets. That was my bad luck charm, Ethereum. Okay, so let's give that wide berth for the next few days. And no, we're disconnected. Oh dear. Let's give you a refresh. Oh, look at that. I'm starting to regret not entering this trade now. Let's come back down and test it nicely. Kind of is like, we are playing around this range, so that probably would be quite an easy trade, to be honest, up to around about 27,000, somewhere around about here. Right. So trading, probably going to be trading around till about 2 p.m. today. So it's a much shorter session. It's Saturday. I wanted to kind of break it in a little bit with the live sessions. I'm real happy we got a couple of trades out. We'll see if any more come in. Again, I'm still unsure about entering this trade. Let's actually just do a little bit more analysis on this section. Right. We're kind of getting to a potential bit of a reversal. So I'm expecting a little bit. Oh, there she goes. There she goes. Let's see if we get rejected from this section again, then I've made the right choice. But by the looks of it, it's kind of making a bit of a little breakout back to the top of the range. Now, with it being a weekend as well, it's not like there's a huge amount of, not like kind of institutional volume. There's still movement for sure, because it's kind of relative. But you know, we are in quite a clear range here. And then, you know, so what generally happens in ranges is what you're kind of seeing there, kind of what you're seeing here. And since, you know, we've made a kind of a nice bounce, in fact, actually a bit of a, I'm not going to say, a bit of a divergence, certainly on these two here. It's bounced up, it's held, and it's bounced up a bit. So the momentum slowed down and it's reverting. There's a very good chance we could be seeing something of that nature. So yeah, like I said, if we're to kind of break out down here, which is a tricky one. So I think if we do revisit this section, or if we come down to this section, make a bounce, then I'll probably take the trade, jump in it. Probably won't run it all the way to profit. Probably close it a little bit shorter, actually, and go from there. Because that is the only kind of downside, I'd say, with this indicator or risk rewards, is that it's based on simply a multiplier of where your stop loss is. And what that means is it's not taking any market structure into consideration. So if you're not taking market structure into consideration, then it means that there can be some like kind of quite big price action moments en route. So let's take this trade, for instance. So we know our stop loss is down here because there is a very significant now price action stop loss support just here. You can actually turn on automatic support on the indicator. I don't have it on because it can be a bit, can cluster a fair bit actually. And I prefer to have really, really bare charts. And, you know, when you've been doing it for long enough, you see support and resistances pretty quickly. It's not, trust me, it's not like a sixth sense or a crazy skill. It's something that's really straightforward. So these would be the points of price action that I would have to consider if I was trading away from using this risk reward method for my take profit, then that fortunately lines up perfectly. But let's say it didn't, kind of thing. But we'd have to be conscious of these two price actions or resistances along the way. Whereas traditionally, I would be considering, if this broke up, I'd consider taking profit here. I would definitely take profit here, regardless. Even though let's assume that that was a little bit higher, because I wanted to be a bit more forgiving with my stop loss. If we reached around this zone, even though it hasn't made it to the full way, I would 100% be taking profit here, just because I'm in the kind of the top percentile of where my profit region is going to be. I'm watching it. I'm active trading. I'm just going to lock that in and guarantee that profit. It's like, don't kill yourself if you take profit early. If you do it too much and too early, you'll probably end up, and you're following the strategy thereafter quite militantly, then you'll, by strategy backtesting standards, then you will end up in potential loss. So don't get too trigger happy, although it's not going to be the end of the world if you take profit early, is what I'm saying. An interesting thing as well about, you often hear this thing about overtrading and stuff for the day. So what overtrading tends to be is your strategy works on a basis of a number of back tests that you've done, and also kind of alongside live testing as well. And you work out like something like an average win rate for whatever. I tend to, all my back testing personally I do is between 9 till 5 p.m. Monday to Friday, or pretty much every day actually, 9 till 5 p.m. That's what my back testing is. So I found out what the average amount of trades is, which is around about 8, to be honest, 7 to 8. What the win rate is, which again is around about 66, between 65 to 70%. I can't exactly put an exact number on it. And that's between specifically 9 till 5 p.m. UTC time, which is fortunately our time. And that's what I trade. That's what I personally trade. So I know that trading in those periods that's the number of trades I'm going to get. That's what my target, win rate is going to be. And this is like over thousands and thousands and thousands of trades that have been back tested, and lots and lots and lots of trades that have been live tested. I don't know exactly how many live tested trades. And I know this is what I'm going to get. And all I have to do is follow this strategy militantly, and it's worked out. I can't guarantee it's going to work out every single day like that. And what you'll find is you quite rarely, very rarely, honestly, you will have losing days. But it's all relative, to be honest. And what your target is, you want to approach this from like monthly, no less than weekly approach of your P&L, because like I said, you can have losing days. But the general thing with this is the higher the quantity of trades, the better, because then that's when the law of averages starts to take over. If you're only trading like 1 or 2 trades a day randomly, then it does start to become a bit of a random exercise, to be honest. So you do want to be trading pretty much every single trade, which is why I should be taking this trade. But I'll tell you a reason why I'm probably not going to take that trade in a minute. If you can get that law of averages on your side and you can bulk it out with quantity and consistency, then things are going to start to work for you a lot more consistently. Because whilst a lot of people in trading think, certainly a lot of like new people to trading, think it's all about this, like you get in at the bottom, then you ride the moon up and you've got like a 5-to-1 risk reward and it's all about entry. That honestly is only, I'm afraid to say, it's only like half the battle. The rest of the battle is around your trade management, around your risk management, and just reality, when you are actually going to be able to trade this. Because when you look back on charts, and this is always the funny thing, I don't make my money from swing trading. My partner does. He's more of that longer term trader, but I don't have the patience, if I'm being completely honest. And I prefer this style of trading. It fits me a lot more. I find it a lot easier to do, to be honest, a lot easier to read. I hate being in longer term trades and then Elon Musk tweets, Gary Gensler does something ridiculous again, and then all of your amazing analysis, all of this gains that you've made for the past month or so just is erased, is absolutely eviscerated by this one ridiculous tweet, or Jerome Powell needs to do some stop loss hunting. That for me, that affects me on like kind of a more psychological level, in the fact that it's just so annoying. It really is so annoying. So I prefer to consolidate all of my trade analysis and everything into a nice consolidated area where there is a really small chance that this is going to be affected by stupid tweets and announcements and stuff like that. That's just me. So I prefer it to be more mechanical and more within as much control as I can have. So that's the psychology of how I approach trading. Swing trades, like I said, they arguably can be safer, but exposure only leads to potential erratic behavior and volatility. But yeah, like I said, you can generally get bigger stop losses with swing trades. So next up, overtrading. Okay. So what is super interesting about overtrading, and what I came to learn about overtrading, certainly when you're working within like trading sessions. Alexa, stop. Freaky Alexa. All about the AI these days. So one thing that I learned about overtrading was be pretty content. Like once you hit your TP target for the day, let's say your TP target is 5% or 10%. My TP target's around about 5-10%. 20% is like an excellent day. I have, you can definitely like, I've done 50% days based on this with this indicator, like without really breaking a sweat. Wasn't like a real critical day. It's just how the trades landed, how all of the signals landed. And, I hit like of a 9 trade day kind of thing. I hit, I think like 2 stop losses or something like that. It was absolutely crazy. And then the rest were just winners, and it was just amazing. And like I said, I didn't really do anything particularly special. I just took all the trades and just let them ride out. And what was quite good about it was I wasn't watching it with a microscope. The trades were just kind of coming in. We had like 3 trades backed up, all which hit take profit, which is nice. We didn't have any like opposing trades open, so that was just like a 30% win in one go. And yeah, and that's kind of, it's quite good. I've had a break-even day. I've not had a loss for quite some time since I've been doing this. But they are to be expected, but not big losses. When you kind of, let's say you're doing what I'm doing at the moment, which is a small account with 10% risk, 10% risk reward. When we're talking about 20%, 10%, 50% days, it is relative. So bear that in mind. But again, it is relative as well. Like I'll probably, once I get into more of a system of this being $100, which is very accessible for a lot of people, then once I've done these long enough, then I'll start to get a bit more exciting. I'll put up to $1,000 and we'll do 10% of that. And then when it gets more exciting, I'll put up to $10,000 and each trade will be $1,000 at risk. But it's all relative, and it's all going to be relative to what your actual larger account balance is. So, with this in mind, can you make $100 a day? Yeah, for sure. Can you make $1,000 a day? Yeah, definitely. Can you make $10 a day? Yeah, absolutely. It depends like what you want to risk. Like I'm not going to stand here and say you should be using 0.25%, or you should be using 1%, you should be using 10%, you should be putting $1,000 into it. I don't know. I don't care. It's down to your risk. It really, really is. Like, and the way that I operate this is I have a surprisingly small amount in crypto, to be honest, like, because whilst crypto is amazing for trading and amazing for like your gains, like I don't generally hold it. I definitely don't hold it a lot on exchanges. Not really any more than that I need to trade with. I keep some stuff in like hardware wallets. But yeah, no, I mean, gold, to be honest, and fiat. Like, no offense to crypto and everything like that, but it's still going through its teething motions, teething problems, and stuff like that. The whole FTX thing, that was scary. That was real scary. And what's to say that it really can't? So I'm not here kind of like I'm not going to say what everybody wants to hear, which is crypto is a safe haven. It's just as risky as anywhere else. Like, so I use crypto for trading and making money, and that's pretty much it. Do I hodl anymore? Sure. Like I own Bitcoin, I own Ethereum, and a couple of other random things, but I don't do moonshots. That is 100% gambling. I really I find it quite funny, like watching a lot of these moonshot channels and stuff like that. And, you know, buy this, it's going to moon, blah blah blah. It's like it might do for sure, like, but the only real way to play those, I guess, is you've just got to buy a large quantity for a little amount, like it's, and then just spread bet, really. But again, I don't know, I might be missing something. Like I tried to become an expert in all areas in crypto when I first started, and just, yeah, I mean, you just end up being a jack of all trades and a master of nothing, and it just sucks. I don't care, like, if no one, if I don't know about mining, like I'm not going to mine. I'm just, like, it's not something that ever interested me. I missed that. I missed that at the start, kind of thing. I missed it when mining was going to be really lucrative. I don't stake anything, mainly because I trade and I don't need to. I don't do YOLO moonshots because I've 100% miss rate on all of them. Hodling, don't need to hodl because I've got like lots of DCA bots, and that kind of like churns and burns money, like not burns, churns money for me. And you know, you only really want to activate those in bullish periods. I don't have any futures DCA bots. There is, as I came to learn over the past couple of years, pretty much 100% risk of ruin with futures DCA bots. So just be warned and be wary on those, unless you've literally got a stop loss on them. Which kind of defeats the objective of DCA bots for me personally. Grid bots, they're fucking dangerous. Seriously, like grid bots seem like a really good idea for a very short amount of time. Just be wary with them. Again, I'm you know, people have these amazing strategies which they, you know, exclusively trade grid bots, and they can do it extremely well. These are very good traders to do it. So when you kind of go on, you know, exchanges and smart trade platforms, and there's a grid bot example on there, just be really wary. It's like, it's that kind of, I always relate grid bots to people coming into DCA trading for the first time, when they realize it's like, oh my God, so I never lose. It's like, yeah, it's true. If you want, it's optional. But then a lot of the time people start out with really aggressive DCA systems, which can be amazingly profitable in a bullish market. Let's say using a spot market and an amazingly bullish market, amazingly aggressive DCA system, and you are just crushing it. It's churning loads of trades. It's making loads of money. And then, yeah, Elon Musk says, or sorry, China bans Bitcoin for the 50th time. And then that's it. You're fucked. Like, just that one move can screw you completely. Any kind of like profit you've made will be locked at the top. Like it happens. It happened to me the first time, to be honest. And that's where you learn. And so the reality with DCA bots and how we approach DCA bots is we are ultra conservative, because you have to be. Like, you're aiming for like 5% per month on a DCA bot is amazing. Like, if you can do that and average that out every month for the year, that's amazing. Like, it really, really is. Once I start to see DCA bots start to creep up and over, you know, 15%. I'm not to say that you can't do more than 5%. You know, some of our DCA bots can do 30%. It just depends what the market's like. If it's really bullish and, you know, the algorithm will start to trigger more in bullish periods, as it should do, and start to do a lot less in bearish periods, and start to work on getting you out of those trades. That's how the logic works. But if you have a DCA model that is just kind of relying on loads of signals, but super duper reliant on the DCA structure itself, it starts to become a little bit more of a randomized event and a bit haphazard. So you do ultimately need some, you know, pretty good algorithms behind it, if I'm being honest, but also ones that aren't triggering too much, because you got to remember that crypto moves as one. As much as we like to think that all assets have their own independence, realistically, it depends what Bitcoin does. Like 9 times out of 10, it's very rare that you'll get a few outliers. I mentioned this at the start of the video. Get a few outliers that get some great news, and then it'll pump. But for the most part, whatever Bitcoin does, the other assets will do. So same with DCA bots. You don't want to be super overcommitted to random trades right before a Bitcoin dump. But that's the beauty of it. So me personally, I day trade, scalp. I have DCA bots. Even though my DCA bots aren't like crazy, I pretty much, that's kind of like my bank, if you will. So I don't like to have dormant money. Hodling is, like I said, I've got Bitcoin, I've got Ethereum, a few others, nothing that I really do a huge amount with. I'll accumulate, like accumulated some Bitcoin. Obviously, the previous dump that we had when we were sub 20K was just, that was an amazing opportunity to buy. Absolutely, like, why not kind of thing. But I don't kind of, I tried, like, if I wanted to accumulate Bitcoin, we've got a bot on Mizar, which is literally called the accumulator. And that automatically accumulates BTC, Ethereum, BNB, XRP, and Cardano for you automatically. And it just targets amazing buys. Oh, hang on. Don't you see my balance? Let's have a look at the marketplace. Trader. Where are you, accumulator? So this thing, the accumulators kind of, it's nice. We took one bit of profit on that when we started it with back in February, kind of time, maybe January. It will just basically buy as the market dips on like BTC or any of these assets. It'll just buy every kind of point of dip, but it doesn't ignore like in the bullish trends as well. So it'll still buy in pullbacks there. And all it's doing is just getting you a good average price for like Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, BNB, Cardano. So you don't have to think about it. And then I think it's by default set to 100% TP. So once the price doubles from your average price, it'll just sell. You can increase that. So you can just use it as like a hodl bot. But yeah, it's obviously always good to take profit. Like I said, I ended up taking a bit of profit earlier, and the average trade is 40% across these assets. So it's pretty cool in how it works. And it's very, very just low stress. You just don't have to do it. It'll just buy equal amounts every coordinated buy. Pretty cool, to be honest. It's one of my favorite bots. I'm now really regretting not going in on this trade because I think that's looking like it's really poised to go, unless we've got a very teeny tiny selling triangle and we're going to break out just down here. If we do, we've still got this 50 daily moving average. If we do break out down there, then it's not the end of the world. I'm not in the trade. So anyway, going back to, long story short, as you will see this, I've got a very good knack of going off topic. But as I'm talking about for kind of your daily cap and why. So it seems a bit daft. Like when you look at, when you do a back test 24/7, you see what you can potentially make and what the consistency is like. Why would you stop trading? So when you make it up to like, say 50%, like, I have done, when you make it to 50% profit, why would you stop trading? Why wouldn't you just carry on? Well, the reality is, like, if you're trading in sessions, like you pretty much will be, if you're manually trading, you're not going to be trading 24/7. You will need to sleep, you'll need to eat, you'll need to do life. So if you end up getting to like a 30, 40, 50% TP, like P&L on your capital, put your tools down, man. Like, because there's a very high chance that based on the statistical analysis and backtesting, that you are due to hit a bad period for that day. So every day your win rate is around about 60, 70%, and you've managed to accrue like 50, 60% P&L for that day, then statistically, you are due to hit a bad patch. So down your tools, and you've been lucky enough to hit the good patch first. So that's great. So just put your tools down. And that's why I'm at a stage now where it's just like, okay, I know I'm trading a shorter day today from like 10 till 2 p.m. So about half an hour. I'm probably not going to take any more trades now because I'm just over 5% up for the day. I'm cool with that. I'm super cool with that. 5% for the day is insane amounts. If I did 5% every day, 5 days a week, 5 times 5, I'm making over 100% a month, win. So previous days have been pretty good, actually. They've been averaged around about 10% per day. So it's been 10, 10, 5%, which has been pretty cool. But I do need to update my banner. Let's hide that. And then, so we've had 2 wins, 1 loss, 6% win rate, and P&L of 5%. Save. And there we go. Updated. We'll update the totals as well over time. So I've had a pretty successful. So that loss actually was my first loss since I've been trading on this system on MEXC. As we can see, where's my P&L? Oh, we don't see the individual trades here. So yeah, so it's been a very good day. Been a very, very good day. And that's just with 3 trades, it's a bit of a shame. So I did actually look at these trades when I got this morning. So this is when my day would have started. I personally only like to really trade when I get into the office, but would have had 1, 2 winners, and then 3, 4. I think this might go on to a 5, but I can't count that one. So this is obviously a loser. That's a loser. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, you'd have 4 winners, 2 losers today, which would be pretty good. And then potentially another 5th winner. So you'd be 20% up. Well, not quite yet, actually. Still, this trade would still need to be closing. Regardless, you'd be 10% up, potentially around about 20% or 15% if you decided to close now, a bit higher. And then if you took this trade, you'd be in the green. So yeah, so you could very easily be doing a 20%, potentially 30% day today, just based on the trades here. If you're trading from around about the start of play, about 8:30 to around about 2 p.m., which is not a bad day. Like even on a $100 account, that's like $25, $30. $1,000 account, that's like $200, $300, and so on and so on. Very easy maths. So yeah, so go have a limit, like when you have a TP target, if you hit 5, 10, 15, 20% for the day, put your tools down, do something else, because there's a chance that you will have a couple of losers, then you'll win it back. So you pretty much will end up you might end up better off, but there's a very high chance you'll end up probably worse off, or break even kind of thing, or even potentially, in a loss. So take that guaranteed profit, and that's great. That's a great win for the day. And then if you're aiming for around about 20%, 10, 20% average per day, that's absolutely insane money. Like I said, the percentages that I'm using are relative to what's, the balance that we're using. So if we compound this, which I think what I'm going to do is I'll start each week with like $100 on the first trading day. So my first trading day is going to be Tuesday. Not going to trade on Monday because, with the rest of the business, we like to make sure that Monday's free for meetings, and, make sure that we've got all our ducks in a row there. So not live streaming. Doesn't not say that I won't trade, but to say that I won't be live streaming, so I like to keep it a bit free. But Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, around about 9 to around about 5 p.m. is when I'll be trading most, and live streaming. Probably won't be as talkative as this, but there's always heaps to talk about with Block Party and stuff like that. So it's quite easy to, it's quite insightful to follow along with these, to be honest. It's not just about watching what trades I do here. I like to talk, so it's quite good to keep along. I mean, this has been, almost 2 hours? So barely even scratched the surface of just this strategy, to be honest. But it's so exciting, honestly. Like we are personally, like, it's nice, like, as kind of professionals, you'd think that like we have just this strategy that just kind of works day in, day out. The problem is, like, everything works sometimes, nothing works all the time. And that's the reality of it all. So you do need to have a bit of a ecosystem of different strategies and invest in different places, because it doesn't always, like this. I know, like, will hit a bad patch at some point. It just will, like, as it will also hit an incredibly good patch at some point. But the reality is, the logic of how this works actually, because it's such small time frames, it will probably not start to have an impact until Bitcoin's like volatility dramatically changes. And I'm talking, you know, when we start to see a market cap that is so insanely high and Bitcoin's kind of volatility starts to level out a lot more. When that starts to happen, then you'll start to see not just this strategy, but a lot of other strategies out there kind of change a lot, and it will probably start to turn into much higher leverage trading. Like the average trading will be like 1000x because the moves will be so small. And also the liquidity will be able to handle it as well. But also, you know, the style of strategies will change a little bit more into more kind of DCA and grid bot formats, because we won't see as insane moves as we are at the moment. It'll be a lot more kind of have a lot more rigidity to it, like you know, GBP, USD, even I suppose I wouldn't say gold in a sense, maybe gold a little bit, that kind of movement. Let's just put this on mute a second. Awesome. Oh, look at you taunting me. Off you go. You're off to the races, aren't you? So there you go. Learning curve. Make sure you stick to strategy and just enter them. But again, like I said, I am totally cool with taking 5% today and leaving it where it is. Today was more about a bit of an intro to the live stream, the indicator that I'm using, where to get it from, and also for me to get familiar with, you know, the actual live streaming and everything like that. It's good fun. So yeah, like I said, we're talking about the actual longevity of strategies. It's always good to not stop hunting once you have one strategy down that's making you money. It's good to not stop hunting for more. It's what we do, and you know, you'd kind of think that we would, you know, as professional traders, we would just have a strategy that just works definitively. The reality is we've been through lots over the past 3 years. And, you know, whether it's, you're always learning, you're always kind of trying to better yourself, better the trading experience, whether it's making your life easier, making, you know, having more opportunities to enter, being more consistent, and things like that. So like I said, this kind of strategy, it works perfect for me. There's lots of opportunities during the day. I have a lot of time that I can give to it. And it works within the time frames I like. I'm quite agile with trading. So it works really well for me. It might not work for a lot of people. You know, for a lot of retail customers and stuff like that, retail users, they might only be able to trade on the weekends, for instance. That's fine. Like if you can only trade on the weekends or maybe once a day, then you have to, I guess, approach like whatever your target, let's say, dollar amount goal is at the end of the month, then maybe that's a good way to adjust your risk per trade or your allocation towards. If obviously, you know, there are limitations there, like, okay, sure, you might want to make 100K a month, but you might only have $1,000 to trade with. So, you know, there are limitations. Is that possible? It probably is possible, but it's highly dangerous. So you've got to be a bit realistic. And what is great about this as well is you can get a 7-day free trial with any of our products. whether it's bots, whether it's the signal channel, whether it's the indicator itself. But one thing which is super cool actually is this paper trading on TradingView. So if you come on here, then you can actually just come down to paper trading, see the brokers list, and then just click on paper trading here. And then you can just simulate trading, and it is actually super accurate. Trade on the exchange that you're likely to be trading on. I trade on MEXC, so there you go. And then from this, let's get rid of all these. In fact, actually, now I've got some information I want to keep. It's holding above that line quite nicely. Still, though, if we do break down, it could be pretty bad news. So let's see where that goes. But anyway, yeah, you can literally just set your paper trading balance, reset paper trading to whatever you want. You can feel like a baller and put it 1 million, or more realistic to what your actual balance is. And you can just trade it as you would if you were going to be trading it. So this is a really, like, this is definitively the best way to find out, is this tool for you? Is this going to be useful for you? And, you know, if we weren't confident in it, we wouldn't be offering a 7-day trial, right? We'd be wanting to get everybody in for that 1 month and getting that at least first month subscription, and then pounding it on YouTube and all our marketing angles, and that'll be it. But like for us, this is more about kind of this is the first proper time we've really released our like proper algorithm out into the world. It doesn't really affect us in any way. We make enough money trading. We make enough money from our other businesses and stuff like that. So it's quite nice. And, you know, the good thing with this one as well, it alleviates a lot of the pressure off us to be providing trades in this scalping format, which, as we've come to learn, has just become almost impossible to do it effectively. I'm sure there'll be ways. Like I said, I think the current job that we're working at the moment, current consultancy job that we're working on, I think might have a solution, which will be really exciting. And what's good is because we're consulting on it, it'll be we'll make sure it fits to how we would want to trade, how we'd see the best possible execution of these like really low time frame, or sorry, low target trades, and how we would kind of do it successfully. But yeah, so with paper trading, really good. So you can actually set it to whatever balance you want. You know, I'd do an example here. So the way that I would use this is let's say we get a signal here. I'd set my stop loss just to this swing low and make sure that lines up. It doesn't have to be exact, but you know, you want to be in the ballpark. And then from here, you can just right click on it, come down to create limit order, check it, buy, and then it kind of simulates your buy. There you go. It's done it from a limit order, so we can actually just raise that a little bit, modify order so that we open it so I can show you this. And you watch, the price isn't going to move now. Oh, it's just going to move up. Good. Come on, stop playing with me. Open so I can show everyone it. There we go, and it makes a fun little noise along with it. So right here, you can see that our trade is set up on TradingView. This is obviously not linked to MEXC. Hopefully soon it will be. I'll keep pestering them to make it so it makes our life super easy. And once that's in, then this will pretty much be all one screen. It's really easy to follow, and it looks like this. I don't know if you can do separate orders. Let's have a little look at that. Let's do separate orders. Create limit order by. That filled straight away. No, it kind of conjoins that does annoy me. And so do all of these boxes. So they should go away on their own, shouldn't they? Yeah, it gives you an average price, average fill price, which is annoying. I would like them to be separate. And then does it adjust the take profit? 27,003. It does. It updates the take profit as well. So that's one thing to be conscious of, that it will actually conjoin orders. So if you are doing 2 orders like I have done there, with 2 different take profits and 2 different risk profiles, then you want to be a bit careful. And really, that's just about adjusting the exit. it doesn't really matter. Like if it's one price, it's got one kind of price in there, then it doesn't really matter too much. This doesn't take fees into consideration because it doesn't have any fees to base it on, but I think there might be an option somewhere. Otherwise, it's just super great to trade on and train on. You can move these around, super nice and easy. Shoot that up. And yeah, for me, this gives you the closest to real life trading experience. And then once you are comfortable with this and you know how to do your entries, you know what you're looking for, you're not panicking when a signal comes in, you know what to do there. The next step is then transferring this information and this knowledge into an exchange. As you can see, it can be a little bit tricky. So what I did for that, let's just close these trades down so they're a bit annoying. You can do a partial close. Okay, that's cool. So let's get rid of these, close it all. Bye, don't care. What is interesting, and the reason why I do actually use these still, so I have two ways of entering the right amount for risks into trade. The first way is by using this tool. So the long position and short position tool, which can be found just on this sidebar here, long position, short position, make them your favorite and then put them onto your favorites bar here. I don't think you can see them because the overlays and yeah, it is. The overlay is just in the way, but just so you can see those there. So the long position, short position tool, there you go, bang, use those. But once you, let's say this is a long position here, if you double click on it, you can preset what your account size is. So at the moment, mine's 120. So this aligns with what this was at the start of the day at 120. And then the risk profile is 10%. So I want to risk whatever my stop loss is. I want to risk 10% of my 120 for that. So once that's all set up, make sure you do it for both long and short as well, because they are two separate settings. Then you can set your trade up. So if I put my stop loss down to this swing low here, and then I right click on that and I'll hit create limit order. And then since I'm linked up to the paper trading, it will automatically populate the perfect limit order for me, which will also include the exact amount of units I'm going to be risking in order to accommodate a 12% risk. So therefore I just copy the units here and make sure that it's set to BTC instead of USDT. You can do it to USDT and I'll show you how I do that. And then I would simply just paste that in there. So then you've got two options of what price you're going to use. So you can use the latest price of whatever it may be, but you've got to make sure that it hasn't pumped like too high. If it shoots down, for instance, then you can use that and it's a really quick way of doing it because you know you're happy with where your stop loss is, for instance. Or you can just use the actual price of where you've set your position tool to, which would just be this one here. So you can copy that and paste that in there. If you have a bit more time, then you can click on these ones and you can basically set your take profit and stop loss at the same time. But I pretty much never do that. It's more important for me to get into the trade with the right amount as accurately as possible. So at this point, I generally just hit the open long now. And then afterwards, that's when I just set the stop losses and take profits, as you've seen. So I always want to have like a market order stop loss. You can you? I'm not sure. But the reason why I have a market order stop loss is because I want that trade closing no matter what. If it has a little bit of slippage, then so be it. But if the price shoots past your limit order and doesn't get filled, that could continue going on and that can actually liquidate you. So just be warned, don't use limit orders for your stop losses. Very bad. But like I said, you can definitely use limit orders for your take profits. And even more so, if you're manually managing them, then you can actually just slide them down. You can literally, very similar to what you saw there, you can move the like the take profit prices, which will say close long, up and down. So if you want to close it early, but you're not frantically early, then you can just move your take profit price to just above where the current price is, and it will fill pretty much 99% of the time. And the benefits of that is you've just had a completely 0% fee trade. So 100% of what you make goes into your wallet. And it's such a good feeling when that happens because it, like you've just seen, I closed those two trades and it cost me $1.70 of that trade. And that's a huge amount. That's like over 10%. All because I was just too lazy, way too lazy to use a limit order to close it. And I could have done that. In fact, if I'd have just left it, it would have gone to a limit order there. And then same again there. So these two are actually winners now. But you know, that's one of the things that you tend to learn over time. So we could have made an extra 2%, around about just under 2%, by just doing limit orders today. So my entire take today could have been from 5% to 7%. 2% is what some people would target in a week. You know what I mean? Like it's a big deal. So 2% is a huge amount. That's kind of like almost 33% of what a DCA bot trades a month, kind of thing. So just things to bear in mind, that is where these kind of, when you can start to carve, when you can start to, you know, make these trades really efficient and shave off the fees where you can very easily, may I add as well, then yeah, it becomes extremely profitable. So all in all, you know, really, really good day trading, and not very long as well. Gave a nice introduction to what we're doing and how we're doing it. So like I said, the main focus of what these live sessions are going to be is around the trading. It's basically just going to be watching me, what I do on a day-to-day basis. I probably won't be talking as much of this throughout trades, throughout days, but I do talk a lot, like I said, so we have a lot to cover. We'll probably be doing like little snapshots of what our other products are doing. I'll also be doing the the swing trades is here. So I look after the futures side of things for Block Party. Nick looks after the spot side of things. So I'll be doing the daily swing trades on the live stream as well and setting those up. You'll probably see me doing like trading view analysis as they get published. So you can actually follow those because why not? And then obviously the main part of it is like looking at the actual trading and, you know, hopefully making some bank, which is pretty cool. I think we're going to end it there, guys. Like I said, super happy with how today's gone. That's a whole like 5% done today. A couple of rogue ETH moves there. Opened it up by accident and closed it by accident to cataclysmic errors. But I was expecting much worse on my first pretty much ever live stream, to be honest. I certainly wasn't expecting like 5% plus total profit on capital. So we'll chalk that off as a win. Just a bit of a recap on the P&L of how we've done since I've been using MEXC on the 19th up until today, which is the 22nd. We are currently 25.58% up on the entire account using the Block Party indicator. Just here, just taking these trades. We've got my other little secret sauce down there, but to be honest, guys, there's going to be no benefit of you having this over just having this, like at all. That's just my little personal one, which I like to use. I like to confirm divergences. Divergences are king. I love divergences. We'll talk about divergences a lot more another time. I use divergences a lot in swing trading. You know, like things like don't try to overthink your oscillators for divergences, in my opinion. The ones which I do like a lot are like the awesome oscillator, not because it's got awesome in the name, but it is really good. The RSI is just king for me. I love the RSI. Stochastic, I've never really had much fun with, and MACD, I don't really like. It's just too lagging, in my opinion. Obviously, it's a very big, very good indicator. People love it. It's just not for me. Like I said, I like the RSI if I'm doing divergences and stuff like that. We've built our own version, which I find super accurate and helpful. Yeah, that pretty much sums up today, guys. Very much thank you for following. Like I said, we'll be doing these kind of like Tuesdays to Fridays. Saturdays today is a bit of a random one. Came into the office just for this. And then we will get back to it, guys. Okay, right. Well, I'll see you all again probably on Tuesday. Up until then, make sure you check out our channel. Get yourself a free trial. Why not? It costs nothing. And make sure you follow us on YouTube, on Twitter, join our Telegram. There is one more thing which I do want to share with you guys today, which is super cool. And I haven't actually launched it in our own community yet, but it's quite new. But let me just show you all. Pop. So here we go. You can see my Telegram. Oh, very nice small Telegram. So if you come to BPT scalping just here, then you will actually This is a free channel, so everyone can join it. You can actually catch all of the trades that have come in. So let's say the last trade was at 1354, and why is that not triggered? Let's have a look. This doesn't seem all right. 12:45 was the last trigger there. And that was the scalp alert for BTC. So what time zone are we on here then? That would be why. Okay, so yeah, so as we can see here, the last trade that was triggered was at 12:54, which was not an hour ago. Some time zones off because it's actually 1:54 now. Okay, I'll get my time zone sorted out. UTC +1. So we're on that. The Telegram off. Okay, so that's literally just triggered right now. That's how convenient is that. Look at that. Awesome. So you just literally saw a trade come through right now, and that was an hour ago. I see. I'm just being an absolute idiot. All the time zones are fine. So that was just very confusing. So this signal hadn't printed yet. It was almost perfect timing to showcase this to you guys. So we got a signal there at 13. It says 13:54 there, but it actually will trigger on 13:57. It's 3 minutes when the candle closes. So that's what the time frame is. And as you literally saw just then, the signal comes through. So you could actually trade along with me. Although these streams are, I think they've got like a 30-second delay on them, which I can shave down, but doesn't really make a massive difference. So you can actually trade along with me if you want to, and you'll receive these alerts pretty much 30 seconds before you'll see them on the screen, and you can enter the trades. And this, like I said, this channel's free. It's free because, I mean, these are small targets, you know, these are going to be you're going to have to be pretty rapid in order to get these trades in, but it's possible. And yeah, it's just a small little bonus so you can see how powerful it is. Obviously, these are only the alerts what I'm scalping at the time. I'll probably leave them on overnight as well, so you can have a play. And if I flip to trading Ethereum or XRP for the day, these alerts will flip as well. So at the moment, they're just exclusively BTC. But yeah, like check it out, join the channel. It's free. Why not? And it's good fun. Okay. Well, as fun as that has been, we're going to call it a day there, guys. And thank you very much for watching. And I'm going to jump off before I watch this trade sale to take profit, and how gutted I was to not enter it. Like if we had left these trades open, we'd actually be up 10% on the day. And if we'd have taken this trade, we'd have been up probably around about, if we would have closed now, we'd have actually finished the day about 15% up if we were just concentrating a little bit more. But, you know, I'm not going to cry. Like I said, I am super, super duper happy with 5%. It's actually saying that my today's P&L is 11.16%, which is not true. That must have taken some yesterday's trading into consideration. But yeah, my past 24 hours P&L is 11.16%. So pretty solid. All right, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you on Tuesday. Bye.